Hello and welcome to Countdown to the Force Awakens, where I'm going to take a look at every film in the Star Wars saga leading up to the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens on December 17th of this year. It's just a mere 7 weeks until the big day when we finally have a new Star Wars film. So, we're going to start from the beginning. No, not Episode 4, sorry. But we're going to start with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I'll give you a few moments to turn this off in case nobody wants to hear anything about that movie. Okay, you're still here. Alright, so, let's rewind the clock. 1997. We see these special editions of the 20th anniversary special editions where first time we see Lucas tinkering with the originals and messing with our memories and love of those films. We start hearing rumblings, ideas planning on doing a new trilogy, a prequel trilogy no less. So thoughts and ideas were running rampant left and right through fandom. Everybody could not wait. We were like saying, "Oh, we get to see the Clone Wars. We get to see how Anakin and Darth Vader and becomes Darth Vader, I should say, and how Anakin and Ben met how he met his wife and events like that. The things we were looking forward to seeing." So when finally we hear that Star Wars Episode 1 is in fact coming and arriving in the summer of 1999, fans were ecstatic and we could not wait. The anticipation was palpable that they even had lineups for this film that went like 7 to 8 weeks before the film even opened. And as we got closer to the film, the trailers would drop, the teaser trailers would drop. I remember the teasers came out and they were only playing at specific theaters and would only play on certain movies. They played at the beginning and the end. And people would just come in randomly to see a movie that they had no intention of seeing, watch the trailer and leave. That was the beginning when people would do that. And so May 1999, finally the day arrives that Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, hits theaters. Theaters around the world were staying open for 24 hours for the first couple of days of release. It was mayhem everywhere. At the time I was working at a movie theater in Los Angeles, and there were 6 lines for the screenings scattered throughout the mall that the theater was located in. 6. And they were packed. And it was just insanity, excitement. At the time, films were only on print. Digital projection was in its infancy. So people will know that theaters have to screen their prints to make sure everything is okay before they start. So I was lucky enough to get one of the last prints to come in, and I had to screen it beforehand, and it was the night of the opening. So I had the whole theater to myself, one of our bigger houses. I had the whole theater to myself, and I got to screen The Phantom Menace by myself. Print turned out okay. So I was geeking out. I was glad it's been 16 years? Yeah, 16 years since the last Star Wars movie was on screen. Last new Star Wars movie on screen. And I was excited. I could not wait. It's like, this is thrilling. And so, I mean, when the movie starts, the 20th Century Fox logo comes on, I was like, yeah! And then Lucasfilm Limited, it's like, okay, this is gonna be huge. And then a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then suddenly the Star Wars logo goes to our screen. It's like, oh my god! And then Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, here we are. We start reading about the crawl, and then it's like space, planets. You see a ship flying by. It's like, oh my god, this looks so cool. This is Star Wars. This is Star Wars. And then suddenly, Newt Gunray opens his mouth, and I'm like, yeah, you know this is perfectly legal. What the hell was that? Did my ears deceive? Did he just like say something in Japanese, in broken English? I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just let that one slide, and then we get introduced to our leads of Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, and young Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor. And I'm like, alright, whatever. And as just these opening 10-15 minutes progressed, you were like thinking, what the hell's going on here? We are introduced to the battle droids who precede the clones, stormtroopers, and the battle droids speak in lame, simple, childish sentences It's like, and reactions, just like when the Jedi's attack you, they literally say "uh-oh," or when they're being told to do something, they go "Roger, Roger." I'm like, ooh, geez, who the hell wrote this? Oh, George Lucas. Then things get a little more off. We come across the bane of the prequels, Jar Jar Binks. People love him or hate him. I'm on the side of hate. And when he opened his mouth and he started speaking in broken Rastafarian English, I was like, oh man, what are you doing here? And then you meet the other Gungans and they're speaking the same way. And it's, I mean, it was flooding back to me. It's like I remember the original trilogy. Almost all the aliens spoke in the alien language. They were subtitled. It was fantastic. It was really cool. And it's like Dewana Wango or they did Boshuda or stuff like that. It's like you don't hear it's like, hey, what do you want? Or it's like yeah, what do you have? Or something like that. It's like they don't say anything like that. I mean, I remember in the Clone Wars animated movie that preceded the TV series, freaking Jabba the Hutt's cousin spoke like Truman Capote. I mean, Jesus. What's going on here? But those are the aliens. And then we get to the rest of the human cast. Natalie Portman, who is a great actress, Academy Award-winning actress, is rather stiff. And I'm sorry, Jake Lloyd, but you were working with a director who's forgotten how to direct actors, and ouch, my friend. Owie. Are you an angel? Like, did I really hear that? Or, yippee? Or, it's like, hey, I'm a human. Stuff like that. I mean, wow. Seriously, wow. But, I mean, beyond performances-wise, I mean, the story itself, it's just, as fans, we were thinking, it's like, okay, there should be some kind of big deal that starts the whole saga, and then you find it's just a trade dispute over taxation. I mean, what is this, 1776? United States? It's just like, that really, that's all this is a trade dispute? That's kind of boring. And boring it is. This is a Star Wars movie. This is not supposed to be boring. And that's how it was for maybe the first hour and a half until they finally go back to Naboo to face off with the Trade Federation. Moments like the pod race scene, which is supposed to be like really cool, came off as a dull race. That was very uninteresting. A lot of the story exposition and storylines were dull, and events like the whole issue of Metachlorians was basically just totally demystifying the Force. It's kind of like finding out the magic of Mexican jumping beans is nothing but a larvae inside the bean jumping around, and it kind of like ruins the magic of it. But yeah, I don't know where that came from and why he even did that. So the scope is not as big as we all hoped. Its presentation is rather dull. The acting is stiff and sometimes pretty laughable, and there are other events that are just like too convenient. Like Anakin is the creator of C-3PO. I'm like, did he have to go there? And like that brings up so many questions later on. It's like, yeah, wouldn't he have noticed that droid and recognized it? Did someone conveniently wipe his memory too when he turned into Darth Vader? It's ridiculous stuff like that. That clearly, the problem was that when Lucas made Episode 1 and also in 2 and 3, that there was no one there to put him in check and tell them, you want to rework this. This is going to come off as bad. I was like, nah, you should play with that. He had nothing but yes man, as we all hear, and basically the actors just performed it as they were told and just stepped away and said, okay, we're good. So Episode 1 is the launching point of the entire Star Wars saga, and the first part of the new trilogy, the prequel trilogy, was, at the time, I was drinking from the Kool-Aid and I was enjoying it. I was like, yay, this is Star Wars. Finally more Star Wars. That I kind of like the event that I really loved the most was the three-way fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. that was like the coolest lightsaber duel ever committed to film in the entire Star Wars saga, and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that was amazing, that was great. But because I was so caught up in the whole event, I thought this was good. And then in repeat viewings, I can't really tell you how many times I saw it, kind of embarrassingly to say, that with each subsequent view, I'm like thinking, this is not as good as I thought it was. This is definitely not good as I thought it was. This is not good. So it took gradual views and me being able to sit down and really look at this and say, it's like, this is pretty weak. Episode 1 is almost like dispensable in the entire saga. There's really no point to it existing. I mean, it would have been great if they just started with episode 2 or even episode 3. And events from the first 2 could have just been mentioned or briefly shown in flashbacks and you wouldn't miss a beat. But instead, we're given what we got, and it turns out, as I said, there's just so many things wrong with episode 1, like the look of it. Things look too pretty, too pristine compared to how things look in the later films, where they look like downtrodden and lived in. I'm like thinking, how do we get from from a Lexus to Pinto? And there's like no real rational explanation. So this is like, wouldn't they be carrying the starfighters that became eventually to X-wings? Wouldn't it be reversed, the X-wing lead up to the starfighters? Because it's like the technology is being reversed here. So so events like that. Then little things like that, and the minor details, and other things like how Yoda looks blatantly like a puppet. I mean, Yoda looked fantastic as a puppet in Empire and Jedi, but yeah, here he looks really bad, and basically the de-aging of him, which should have only been like 20 years, 25 years, and why do they make it look like he's 500 instead of 900? There's something wrong in the design there. So episode 1, when I first saw it back in the day, I probably gave it an 8 out of 10. And but now, in retrospective, I give it a 4.5 out of 10. It does not live up to what I think Star Wars should have been, and basically it's sadly set us up for just dealing with whatever we get is what we get. We're not going to get the Star Wars we all hoped and dreamed is going to be. We're going to get George Lucas's interpretation of what Star Wars should be, and it's not going to live up to what we all thought and what we all hoped for. So we're residing in the fact and basically just became complacent. I think as long as he hits the beats that we as fans want to see, it's okay. So episode 1, as it was, turned out to be a very bad start for this new prequel trilogy. And it's sad to say, a lot of the elements and filmmaking carry through episodes 2 and 3. So again, to the point where you're resigned in the fact that you have to like take what you get and be happy with what you are shown, and that it actually shows you what happened and kind of alludes to what you hope will happen. So if you like my first episode in my countdown to The Force Awakens, please hit the like button below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of the episodes as they come in, as I continue my countdown to The Force Awakens. I'll be back next week with episode 2, where I take a look at Attack of the Clones, which is an improvement over episode 1, but still is not that great a movie, and again is just as dispensable as this one. So that's what we have to look forward to. So until next time, may the Force be with you.